Hello, thank you for joining today. My name is Miranda Ike, and I am the Senior Outreach Coordinator for the Take Charge Live Well program with the state of Ohio. And today we will be talking about stress management and managing stress for a more quality of life. It's no surprise that your mental well-being is a major factor in your overall health and quality of life. And today we will explore a variety of techniques that you can use every day to maintain a state of well-being. We will also learn how to live in the low zone. So it's important to learn how to recognize how stress affects you, learn how to deal with it, and develop healthy habits to ease your stress. What is stressful to one person may not be stressful to another, and stress can come from happy events as well as unhappy events. We oftentimes think of the unhappy events first when we think of stress, such as illness, overwork, family problems. But some happy events that can cause stress are new marriages, job promotions, and new homes. And here are some examples of stress categories. All three of these categories can have both positive and negative stress. You have major life changes, daily tasks and commitments, as well as life circumstances. On-the-job stress is very common as well. Many people feel stress when it pertains to their work or their job. And here are an example of 3 surveys conducted on this topic. Right here, the first survey listed was conducted by Yale University, and 29% of people feel they are quite a bit or extremely stressed at work. The next survey listed was conducted by the Families and Work Institute. 26% of people often found that they were very often burned out or stressed by their work. And finally, the last survey listed was conducted by Northwestern National Life. 40% of people felt that their job was very or extremely stressful. So it's no secret that stress is very common, especially when it comes to stress in our workplace. So hopefully today we'll learn some techniques and how to manage stress a little bit better and be more productive during our workday as well. So stress can affect people in different ways. Here are some common effects of stress. Aches and pains, very common. This can include headache, backache, neck ache, stomach ache, tight muscles, clenched jaw. Any of these physical symptoms you may notice once you're feeling stressed. Another common effect is energy level and sleep. Stress definitely can affect our energy levels and our sleep patterns. You may notice that you feel tired without a good reason, or that you may have trouble sleeping when you're stressed. Feelings can also be affected by stress. A lot of times when we are highly stressed, we also experience feelings such as anxiety, anger, depression, helplessness, a sense of out of control, or just overall feeling of tense. And then also emotional signs can be affected by stress as well. You may find that you're more easily irritated, or that you're impatient or more forgetful. Just like how stress affects people differently, our reactions to stress can vary as well. So when you think about how you respond, some of these may speak to you as well. Some people eat to calm down. Others notice that they speak or eat very fast. Others may rush around to try to get more done, but actually when in their rush and chaos, they actually may get less done. Or you might work too much, or some people actually start slowing down when they feel stressed. The research is clear that stressed brains do not operate in the same way as non-stressed brains. John Medina, who is a PhD director of the Brain Center for Applied Learning Research at Seattle Pacific University, says creativity, productivity, motivation, and sometimes even your immune system will all suffer under stress. So the first step in managing stress is to create awareness. The American Heart Association utilizes a low stress to high stress continuum that's listed here on this slide. So you can see the low stress zone is in the blue zone with the ratings of 1 through 3. about 4 to 7, moderate, and then the high stress zone, you're getting into the red zone, 8 to 10 or so. And down here at the bottom is a key. So rating 1 would indicate that your creativity and cheerfully engaged in life. And then all the way up to a rating 10 would mean that you have high chart-topping negative emotions. You also may notice the facial expressions that go with the continuum. Incidentally, these facial expressions are also the same ones that are on the Wellbeing Connect portal when it comes to stress, and we'll go over that a little bit later as well. So think about yourself. Where would you place yourself right now on this continuum? How do you know when you've surpassed the moderate point? Again, that's right around here. I encourage you over the next few days to take notice of the small changes your body goes through as your stress level rises and falls. For most people, their stress climbs in a predictable pattern. By learning your emotional cues, you will be able to better manage your stress and be able to better stay in the blue or the low zone, which again is over in the 1 through 4, 1 through 3 categories. So step 2 is learning to live in the low zone. Once you notice that you have surpassed the mid-zone mark, it may be time to take some stress management moments. This is different for each person. For example, some people may enjoy taking a 5-minute walk, focusing on what is in their control rather than what is not. Keep a funny book on hand or something else that makes you laugh. Taking deep breaths is another common technique people use. We'll talk a little bit more about deep breathing in the future as well, but just to mention here, if you are using deep breathing as a technique, make sure to do a deep breath that involves your diaphragm rather than a shallow breath just involving your lungs. So whatever technique works best for you, after you've taken a moment to implement the stress managing technique, notice what changes occur in your body. A lot of times you'll have some reverse of those physical symptoms we talked about earlier. Your heart rate may slow. You might just feel an overall sense of calm and well-being once you implement some of these techniques. Here are some other ones listed. Exercise. I'm sure you've heard exercise is a great way to manage stress. Being organized just in general can definitely cut down on our stress level. Getting enough sleep, taking time to slow down, giving up bad habits, remembering to laugh. That's a big one as well. And right here, I really wanted to touch on this. Accept the things you cannot change. It's so easy to get caught up on the things that are out of our control, which just makes the stress cycle even worse. So focusing on what is in our control definitely can make a difference. So there are definitely some benefits to living in the low zone. For example, being more creative, feeling more alive, being able to better enjoy the small moments of happiness. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but a lot of times when we're stressed, we may miss out on some of the simple joys of life. They just pass us by because we were preoccupied. So when you're living in the low zone, a lot of times you're better able to enjoy those small moments of happiness. And then also, in turn, you will be able to reserve your high zone stress responses for times when it's more appropriate. That way we're not feeling super stressed when there's no need to feel that way. So simplifying your life can do wonders for stress level. I know this is easier said than done, but here are some suggestions that you may be able to try. The first one listed is cutting back on commitments. And when things get too hectic, cutting back on the non-essential activities for both you and your family can make all the difference in the world. So I definitely encourage you to think about that when times are really stressful. Figure out what's the high priority commitments that you have to keep, and then what can go, just to allow yourself some extra time. Another big one is to work smarter, not harder. So take a deep breath before tackling stressful tasks. It's easy just to jump in to try to get them over with as quickly as possible, but unless we're calm, and thinking clearly, we actually tend to make more mistakes, which just create more work for ourselves. So this is a simple one that I'm personally trying to do. When you go home each day, open your mail and toss the junk mail on a daily basis. It's all too easy just to let it pile up. By the end of the week, you're ready to start your weekend and you have a huge pile of mail to go through. Not a fun way to start the weekend. So just taking 5 minutes a day can really make a difference in that area. Trying to do as much as you can the night before a busy day. So maybe packing lunches the night before or laying out clothes for yourself or your child the night before. So that way the morning, a lot of times mornings are chaotic anyway, but as much as they are chaotic, we can try to make them go a little bit more smoothly by doing what we can the night before. So that way you're not starting your day off on a stressful note. Meal planning, this is a biggie as well, and I'm sure we could do an entire presentation just on this alone. But planning meals ahead of time, maybe for a week or two at a time, or trying to cook double batches, so that way you have enough for 2 meals can really help. An easy thing I do, for example, when I cook meatloaf, a lot of times I'll make 2 batches. We'll have that batch for that night and maybe the next day for leftovers, and then we'll also have a batch I can pop in the freezer and pull out at a later time. And then just staying organized in general, cleaning out files, drawers, shelves regularly, and this can be done both at home and at work. A lot of times when we're unorganized, we spend more time trying to find things, which actually creates more stress in our lives. So here are 4 simple techniques that I encourage you to try for stress management. They're listed here: positive self-talk, emergency stress stoppers, finding pleasure, and daily relaxation. We'll get into each one of these a little bit deeper here. So first of all, positive self-talk. Some of you may have heard of this already, and it may be new to other people. Basically, positive self-talk helps you relieve stress and deal with the situations that cause you stress. We all talk to ourselves sometimes, or most likely it's within our head, although sometimes we talk out loud to ourselves. But that voice that you hear in your head can make such a difference on your stress level and how you feel about yourself. So trying to make that voice turn itself into a positive voice rather than a negative voice can make a big difference. And here are some examples. A negative thought that you might think is, I can't do this. This is very common to think. But if you try to switch that around and think, I'll do the best I can, that puts a positive spin on it and actually can decrease our stress levels when we're going through a tough time. Another example is, everything is going wrong. Very easy to think. And then that will just perpetuate an even greater stress cycle. Whereas if you stop that negative thought and turn it into a positive thought, an example could be, I can handle things if I take 1 step at a time. Much more manageable, a different frame of mind. The third one listed is, I hate it when this happens. And switching that into a positive thought would be, I know how to deal with this. I've done it before. So this really can make a big difference in just your overall attitude throughout the day as well as your stress level. And just like anything, the more you practice self-talk, the easier it becomes. Increase your awareness and notice the common self-talk that you have. A lot of times we don't even notice it. It's just part of who we are and how we go about our day. But if you try to tune into it, and as soon as you notice a negative thought, try to stop that thought and replace it with a positive one, you'll notice some differences in the long run if you do this. And also helps to try to have some positive thoughts already in mind to combat the common negative thoughts that you have. So maybe take a couple of days, take notice of it. Sometimes it even helps to jot down the thoughts that you're noticing most common, and then you can think of a positive thought to counteract that. Here are some more examples of positive thoughts. I can get the help if I need it. We can work it out. I won't let this problem get me down. things could be worse. I'm human. We all make mistakes. Someday I'll laugh about this. And finally, I can deal with this situation when I feel better. So emergency stress stoppers are another technique I encourage you to try. Stress can arise anywhere, and emergency stress stoppers help you to deal with stress right on the spot. So here are some simple ones that you could try. Counting to 10 before you speak, especially when you're in a high-stress situation. It's easy just to blurt out the first thing that comes to your mind. So if you can count to 10, that allows you to create some awareness to better choose your words. Taking 3 to 5 deep breaths can be helpful. Walking away from the situation and so you can handle it at a later time in a better way could be helpful. Or just going for a walk in general can help to clear the mind. Another thing is don't be afraid to say I'm sorry. Sometimes it's a tough thing to do, but sometimes it needs to be said. And then also set your watch 5 to 10 minutes ahead. That can really help you to try to keep from rushing around during the day. And then finally breaking big problems into smaller parts. It's easy to become overwhelmed with a big problem, but if you break it into smaller parts, it becomes more manageable. So finding pleasure is the third technique I encourage you to try. When you're feeling stressed, try to take some time to do something you enjoy, which could be helpful. And this can be something simple like chatting with a friend, reading a book, or just trying to do something for yourself about 15 minutes a day. Here's some other examples. Starting an art project. This could be whatever you find interesting, whether it be drawing, painting, scrapbooking, doing a project with a friend, maybe a child or a grandchild could be fun. Taking up a hobby. And this could be taking up a new hobby or maybe starting back with an old hobby that you used to do. Just enjoying some good old me time. Many times people like to read a book, short story magazine, newspaper, maybe just sit to yourself, have a cup of coffee, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Taking a walk, going to an exercise class, maybe watching a TV show or playing some board games or cards with family or friends. Whatever you find pleasure in, we just encourage you to do it about 15 minutes a day. And the fourth technique is daily relaxation. Now this is similar to finding pleasure, but it is different. Daily relaxation has a specific purpose. So it's more than just sitting in your favorite chair watching TV. To relieve stress, relaxation should be calm in the intention for both your mind and body. So some good forms of relaxation to try are yoga, Tai Chi. For those that do not know what Tai Chi is, it's a series of slow, graceful movements. And then also meditation can be helpful. The deep breathing is listed here as a daily relaxation technique, and we'll just go over this here. There's definitely a way to do deep breathing effectively. And just like anything else, the more you do it, the more efficient you become, and the more beneficial it will be for you. So the first step when you're trying to use deep breathing for a form of daily relaxation is to sit in a comfortable position with your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap, or you can lay down and close your eyes. And the next thing you'll want to do is picture yourself in a peaceful place, wherever that may be. It's different for everybody. Perhaps you're laying on the beach, or you're walking through the mountains, or you're floating in the clouds. Whatever it is, hold the scene in your mind. And then you want to inhale and exhale. Focus on breathing slowly and deeply. It's easy to rush this part, so I really want to encourage you to go slow and deep. And sometimes it's nice to count when you're doing this as well, so you get into a slow rhythm. And then you'll want to continue to do this for 10 minutes or more. As I mentioned earlier, with deep breathing, you'll really want to try to use your diaphragm to get the most out of it. And so when you breathe in, your stomach should expand, and when you exhale, your stomach should contract. If you notice your shoulders moving up or down and your chest moving a lot, you're not really using your diaphragm. Your shoulders and chest should remain relatively still, and your stomach will be moving in and out, and that's how you know that you're breathing with your diaphragm. So I wanted to go over some resources that are available to you through the Take Charge Live Well program. First, we wanted to talk about some of the online resources. If you have not already taken your well-being assessment, we want to encourage you to do so. Once you've completed this, the site will prompt you to create your well-being plan. And here you'll have the option to make stress management one of your focus areas. And the next few slides will include screenshots of the Wellbeing Connect portal. But before we do that, I did want to mention that we also have health coaching available, which is a great stress management tool. So here you can talk to somebody one-on-one over the phone, and the coaches can really help you to determine, what are some of the stressors in your life and what are some techniques that can help you to manage that. If you are interested in coaching, we encourage you to call our toll-free number at 866-556-2288. And we are open Monday through Saturday. We do have extended hours, so feel free to call when it's convenient for you. And you do not have to qualify for health coaching this year. Anybody who has the state's health insurance can self-refer into that. So if you're interested in doing the online program or taking the well-being assessment, you'll want to go to www.ohio.gov/TCLW. And once you log on to that site, you can click the Health Waves button to log on to take your well-being assessment. And then this is a screenshot of what you'll see. If you've already logged in before, just go ahead and enter your username and password. If this is your first time going to the site, make sure to register first. So once you've completed the well-being assessment, it will prompt you to complete your well-being plan. And this is a screenshot of the well-being plan, which is the main page once you log back into your Wellbeing Connect portal. So if you've not already made stress management one of your focus areas, you can do so by clicking the Manage Focus Area button right here circled in red. And once you've selected the stress management as a focus area, this is what you'll see on the main Wellbeing Plan tab. So from here, you can set up personal trackers, access your journal for stress management, read a tip of the day, or link to an article on stress management. There's all kinds of tools just within this portal. So here's a shot of some of the topics I was just mentioning. So if you wanted to add more goals and trackers, you would click the Add More Goals and Trackers button. If you wanted to access your journal, you would click here, and then you could put a new post for the day. And then also we have tips of the day too. And then this would just give you a quick tip on how to manage your stress for the day. So if you wanted to set up your personal tracker, you would go back and hit the Add More Goals and Trackers. And the nice thing about this tracker within stress management is you can determine the wording of your own goal as well as how often you'd like to track it. So this is an example. This was blank, and I just typed take 10 deep breaths a day. And then you want to select the area of focus, so stress management. And then you can determine how many times a week you would like to track it. So I entered every day for this example. And then you would just click the Add button, and it would automatically add to your stress management area within your Wellbeing Plan tab. So if you're interested in reading stress management articles, you can simply click the Read Article button here in orange. And there's also a listing of all the stress-related articles off to the right. So you can click which one would be of most interest to you. And once you click the Read the Article button, it pops right up in the portal, so it's nice and easy, and then you can just read that at your own leisure. So Wellbeing Connect also offers several external resources that you might find helpful, and these are listed on the right-hand side of the page. They're circled in red. If you click these links, it will take you directly to the or the web page itself. And we wanted to give you some additional resources. So these are the same resources that are listed in the Wellbeing Connect portal, as well as some other ones. We wanted to offer the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Unfortunately, when there's high stress involved in people's lives, sometimes they contemplate suicide. So having this resource could be helpful if that's something that you find is like for somebody else or yourself. This is very helpful. Mayo Clinic is another great resource for stress management, and also we wanted to give you a resource for kids. We don't often think about kids and stress. However, especially these days, a lot of kids have high levels of stress, so this is a good resource for that as well. And then we also wanted to offer some additional resources to you through the state of Ohio. You may or may not know you do have EAP, which is Employee Assistance Program for Assistance. A referral is made to counseling. The employee or the employer's dependent may be responsible for a copayment. And for the state of Ohio, employees covered by the state health plan, mental health services are covered by the behavioral health provider that the state contracts with for these services. Employees not covered by the state can call their health plan and still contact EAP for assistance. And then also United Behavioral Health is a great resource, and they have a variety of behavioral health issues that they deal with on a regular basis, such as depression, stress, serious mental illness, marital and family issues, alcohol and drug dependency, as well as anxiety. So these are all good resources that you have right through the state. So we definitely wanted to thank you for listening today. Hopefully you found some good techniques that you might try, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
The leader has disconnected.